This is a hack. Let's say you've got a lot of sensitive documents that you need to destroy. You know, old bank statements, national insurance number, notifications, tax notifications, stuff that you don't need to keep anymore. Now, the important thing is that you need to destroy these in a really good way. There is always going to be shredders, but they could cost you 20 quid or a lot of money. You literally just cannot just throw out something with your name, address, bank details, national insurance number. You can't throw that on the bin. Because if you do that, somebody may go through your bin, take it, and steal your identity. Identity theft is quite high worldwide. So what you got to do is, without showing you much details, right? This is like about 15 pages of stuff. When I was on JSA recently, old bank statements I don't need anymore, old doctor's notifications. Yes, literally what I've done is I've cut them up sideways like 10 times, and then I've cut them up into little squares. So I'm going to pour some boiling water on top of it and mix in maybe some detergent to make it into like a paper mache. Alright, now here comes the water. Not too sure if I really should be pouring boiling water into a plastic container. I mean, this is my one, but who cares? I'll buy another one if it breaks. And maybe just some cold water. And also some detergent if need be. To like discolor it. Yes. So you're literally just gonna like get the paper to start soaking. And you'll want to make sure all the paper gets sopping wet, that you can actually gather it up into a ball and then just like rip it to little tiny pieces. So, like, you may notice that some of the pages are just white, other pages are grey. Yeah. Even some yellow ones, okay? I'm just doing this at a distance in case any of my personal details happens to show off. Well, the machine is done. Yeah, so getting all this paper mache out of the way. Maybe a bit time consuming, but it doesn't really bother me. As long as literally this all gets really tossed away today. Now another handy idea is when you actually like are destroying documents is basically like you cut it up into threes, you destroy one part and you put it in the first week's recycling bin, you cut up the second part and you put it in the next week's garbage bin, and then the third part is you put that third part in the third week's bin. So it's really, you can't really read most of the stuff. I mean, if I just picked up a little square tiny one, it would just basically just say like like literally even with a thumb, like with the thumb you can actually like rub out the writings. It's just, that's what it's like. I mean, this is really messy at all, but it's better to be safe than sorry, especially when you're somebody who has a lot of personal documents and you need to throw it away every now and then. Alright. I kind of feel like that time in Pulp Fiction when Jimmy and his sidekick, basically they blow the brains out of that guy and they have to park the car at, I don't know. Yeah, literally, the guys in Pulp Fiction, they park the car with the dead body at Jimmy's house, and Jimmy is furious because if his wife comes home, she's going to dump him. So they call in the wolf, who tells them to clean the car up. And basically, like, take all those bitty pieces of skull and brain, and wipe down the apostrophes and all. Yeah. So this is a pretty decent hack. I mean, it beats paying a lot of money to have a shredder. I mean, but if you're a minimalistic type of person like me, you wouldn't really want to have a shredder. If you have a friend who does have a shredder, you could ask him or her if you'd use their shredder. They would probably say yes and be quite understanding. I was visiting my friend's house the other day in Birmingham and they had a shredder right in their dining room, near the office. I thought, what a good idea to get rid of your sensitive documents. But I'd rather spend 20 quid on something better rather than a paper shredder. Also, another thing about like shredding documents is in the movie Argo, right? They destroy all sensitive information, and literally they get like sweatshop children to piece it all together, and that's how they end up like finding the missing 5. But I don't think that did happen in real life. But they did piece together all the sensitive documents the Americans had shredded before the Iranians took over the embassy. And a lot of that information is actually on display in Tehran. Now, if you're ever cutting up like debit or credit cards, the important thing is basically to cut the chip out, and then like cut along the lines. Like literally, you want to not just cut across the number, but you basically just want to cut like into 3s. And as I said before, put the 3 pieces in 3 different garbage bins. Like 1 week you throw out piece number 1, the next week you throw out piece number 2. The other week you throw out piece number 3. So all this stuff, most of this is gonna go into this garbage bin, which won't get empty till next week, because this is my housemate's garbage bin, and there's gonna be all sorts of food put on top of this seriously in the next coming days. So nobody is gonna like want to go through my garbage bin. Like if I'm gonna open a website and put your stuff out on DNS, whatever you do, like don't allow people to put your address out there, because that's where like docking things can happen, you know. I mean, yeah, you could just put like your office address, or basically postal like PO box address, private mailbag, whatever you call it. Yeah, so it's all here. It's going in the bin now. Alright. Anyway, this is Mark the Metalhead for another life-saving hack. I'm over and out.